And go. Hi, I'm going to show you how to use one of these swivels that we have over at Ken ISD. So we've got this box here with the swivel and the iPad and all the cables that you need, and then the tripod. So if you want to take a look really quick about what's inside this box, you just open up these two hinges, and you'll see that you've got your iPad, swivel, and if you have one of the C5 robots, you have 4 additional remotes here. And then underneath the iPad, you have some additional things that you might need, which are the cables. You've got a magnifying lens, charger, and then this white cable you'll definitely need no matter what you do. So to set this up, what I recommend is that you first take the swivel and attach it to the tripod. To do so, you just stick it on the top and then twist it to screw it on, and you just screw it until it stops spinning, and you'll want to hold the swivel at the bottom because the top will continue to spin because it's the swivel, so it will swivel. Okay, once you have the swivel on the tripod, I recommend that you extend the tripod by loosening up the hinge down here and then pull out the stand, and then you can kick out the legs of the tripod. Okay, so now our swivel's there. It's a little short, so we might want to make it a little bit taller. So there's this thing that you can spin, and it will loosen up, and you'll have another pull that comes out. So you want to make this probably about chest high, I would say. And then you just tighten it up down here. Okay, so we've got the swivel. Your iPad has a nice little swivel case on the back. There's a little cutout that actually locks in to the swivel. So you just put it in, and you'll hear a little click, and you know it's in there correctly because you can actually lift the whole thing with the iPad. I would not recommend you do that all the time though. Okay, the last piece that you absolutely will need is this little white cable that I showed you earlier. So this actually connects the iPad to the swivel. To do this, you want to look on the back of the swivel. There's a little port with a USB symbol, so you want to plug in the USB part into the USB port. Okay, and then you have a lightning cable on the other end, and this plugs into the iPad, so like so. Okay, so these are the parts that you absolutely need, and then if you want to start it up, you just hit the power button and you hold on to it till the light turns on, and you'll see that the swivel will adjust itself. It tries to level itself out every time it turns on. So these lights mean that it's on, but it's not connected to anything. So let's turn on the iPad, which I didn't have that turned on, so we're going to turn that on, and while we wait for that to boot up, on the back of the swivel, this is where your marker is, or the remote. So if you pull that out, this is what allows the swivel to track you, and it captures your audio. So with this marker, to turn this on, you're going to hold the power button, and it seems like you have to hold it down for like half a second longer than you would expect. You'll see a green light turn on. This light will flash red, and that just means it's trying to pair with the swivel. So that takes a couple seconds, but you should see that turn green, and then your swivel light will turn green. So there you go. And once that turns green, you'll see that the swivel will start following the remote. On the swivel itself, you can see that little thing pops up with our iPad. So that happened when you plug in the swivel to the iPad. You should get a little notification like this. You just hit allow. That opens up the Swivl app. If for some reason you don't see that, there is a button for the Swivl app on the iPad. So you can just access the app within the dock there. This wants us to update because they just came out with an update this morning. So we're just going to skip that for now. So now that we've got this set up, we have it set up that's following the marker. So I'll push this back so you guys can see that it's looking at me now. And what I would do is I would just put this lanyard around my neck. Okay, and you can adjust it actually. Oops, so I didn't do that right. So you can adjust this little plastic part, so that way the lanyard maybe sits a little bit higher. So I can pull that. You can see that the remote sits a little bit higher, and I want that to be close, somewhat close to my mouth. I don't have to have it like this because that would be too loud, but about here is good. And then when you're ready to record, you just hit this little red button. And when you do that, the remote turns red to tell you that it's recording. And you'll actually see on the iPad that it has this light flashing that it's recording. It has a timer. And then you can also see that this symbol changes to a stop symbol, which I can use my iPad to stop it, or if I just hit the remote, that recording button again, it stops the recording. You can see that it stopped the recording there on the iPad. Your video will be saved to the iPad, and if you have a Swivl account, you can actually have it upload to the Swivl cloud where you can then access it online. Just one last thing, if you have one of these Swivls that has the extra remotes, these are used to capture audio in the room. These are really simple to use. You just turn them on like the primary marker, and they'll turn on, do the same thing, flash red, and then they'll turn green when they're ready to pair, or when they are paired. Oh, actually no, they just stopped blinking, sorry. So this one's ready to go. You just place these around the room where you want to capture audio, and you don't have to touch them after that. And then when you're done, just turn everything off, do the opposite of what I just did to set this up, and you'll be good to go.